today is about our conflict soup. We will take a short look at conflicts and at the civilized approach to conflicts. We will have a story about conflict conglomerates and how to resolve them. We will do some exercises. We will have a conversation about it, and then we will do as we used to, try to give some love to the world. So, first off, conflicts. When we are caught in conflicts, our biological being seems to have two solutions to offer. Fight your way through or run for your life. For the vast majority of our conflicts, these two are a bad match. But if we do nothing, we are left with a body in strain. When we feel the conflict building up, the body gets ready for one of the two solutions. We get sweaty, clammy hands. There is a state of emergency in the body. The body knows it way before we get conscious about it. And the body puts all power into this fight or run. The liver pumps energy reserves into the bloodstream, directed to the large muscles. The body is ready. You're shivering, cold. Should we punch him or run? Should the conflict hit us while we are eating, all pleasure is gone spontaneously. Colors, smell, taste, saliva, even chewing stops. The state of emergency even means that digestion stops. Fuel and oxygen is now delivered to large muscles. The supply to internal organs, capillary tissue is halted. In the tissue, now it starts building up waste material because blood is not supplied anymore. And we will often get the unpleasant smell of our smelly body, sweaty body. The body has developed this ability to handle any kind of emergency situation over millions of years. In and itself, there is no problem to it. Collection of waste materials in the tissue is, of course, not very wise. The tissue begins to acidify almost immediately. The state of emergency is not meant for a living. The goal is to get out of the conflict as soon as possible. The body uses this tool on purpose, knowing that in a moment the conflict is resolved by one of the two completely natural methods, fight or flight. Once the conflict is solved, blood rushes back into the tissue and flushes out waste products and restores a thriving, happy state. Lest we are civilized persons. Because these endless ways of creating conflicts with our fellow beings, the body has no idea what this is all about. Whether it is bullying, unpayable electric bills, arguments with the spouse, the body only knows the two ways, either fight or flee. And remember, whilst you are in this conflict, all tissue is neglected. This state of emergency is not intended to last more than a few seconds, mostly minutes. If it lasts longer, damage occurs in the body. From an early age, we learn not to listen to our body's signals about impending conflicts. We learn that we should not strike back. We must take responsibility and stay in the situation and talk about it. The result is that most of us live in a dense fog of unresolved conflicts. Each of them has initiated a state of emergency in the body, which has never ended. As the years go by, this leads to damage to tissue and organs, which we call chronic diseases. We have conflicts with each other. Therefore, my conflict fog is intrinsically linked to your conflict fog. If we begin to unravel it, we will discover that we are all dealing with entire networks of conglomerates of conflicts. Okay, I put it together an example. We have some guys. They have a sailboat together. Now they have set a date for a trip to practice for the next regatta. But guess what? Paul's grandparents managed to invite to a big family party the same weekend. This immediately puts Paul in a conflict. Should he practice the regatta or join the family party? I think none of you have ever experienced anything like it, eh? This is every day, of course. So if he does not attend the sailing, their chances of winning are weakened. He would rather not be the one to be blamed for the losing. If he doesn't show up to the family party, someone will feel let down. He knows he has to participate in both places, and it's impossible. Now, a classical solution is to consider both possibilities to the bitter end and see, what does it look like when Paul is 80 years old? Which solution will be the most satisfying? But it is not that simple. It is not the case that one solution is better than the other. They are just different. They lead different paths. It's not immoral to stay away from a party or to stay away from the boat race. So how can Paul approach? A typical way is to do nothing, pretending the conflict isn't there, in the hope that something out there will change, so I do not have to be the one to make the choice. But now we know that doing nothing actually means doing a lot in the body. The body is now in a state of emergency, trying to give us the power to resolve this conflict. And this conflict will acidify the body and tie up attention. Paul has to make a decision. He decides to join the family. Now he has resolved his initial conflict. But alas, at the same moment, he creates a new one. What should he tell the boys? He feels very sad about it. He knows he's going to let them down. But Paul is a clever man. He calls one of the other guys Svein and explains, maybe I cannot attend. when Svein hears that Paul maybe not that he cannot participate, it appears that Paul had a conflict all the time, which he didn't tell anybody about. It's about the boat. The rudder is weak and should be repaired before the next trip. This has been a conflict for him for a long time. Should he keep tight and thereby stop the boat? Or, yeah, you understand? Svein grabs this question from Paul and takes it as a decision. We cannot sail until the rudder is repaired. Now, Svein is helped by Paul's decision. Paul is now rid of his conflict and can participate in the family party in comfort and joy. Now, Svein has to find a way how to solve his conflict. And he goes to the next guy in the row, Trond, and who is responsible for the boat account. And he says, we need to repair the rudder before Paul and Svein want to attend. Okay, now he is also given away his burden, and it lies with the boy accountable for the money. So Trond, he knows that the rudder is not doing good, and he also knows why it's not repaired. It's because the last guy there has borrowed money from the boat, money, as he had to buy a new car. So, can you see it? One starts to flip and it all cascades through these conflicts because Egil took money from the boat box in order to buy a new car, in order to make his wife happy. And now he has to find a way to bring money back quick, and he doesn't have it. He has to go to his wife and say, oh, I'm sorry, I did this to impress you. And what would she do? Yeah, and you can see it, how it all progresses. So, but when you take a solution, you will immediately feel something that you do not want to feel. As Paul tells the guys, I'm not going to join, he knows, he has the feeling of responsibility, bad consciousness, I'm letting my boys down. And the next guy has been feeling this a long time and suppressing this feeling. I should tell Paul that the rudder is not in order. And Trond has been lying about the boat account. And Egil has been lying to his wife about the new car, and so on. And each one has to process this feeling when they actually resolve the conflict. So, how to resolve a conflict? Anytime a conflict approaches, we will have the experience in our body. The body gives us a sensation, a tension, a lump in the throat or stomach, a chill or something. And we must be aware and know, here comes a conflict. Then we have to analyze it. What's it all about? Boat regatta or family party. I must become aware of this, and I must bring it on the paper and know one of these two has to go. This or this. I can try it out for myself. How would it feel like taking this or this? But at the end, one of the two has to go. And you find the big marker and cross it over. And one is left. And now comes the feeling, I cannot do this, I should have done, and you will have to deal with this feeling. And then, of course, it might bring another feeling, another conflict. When you have solved the first one, another one might come second in the row, and you must deal with each conflict that cascades after it. And you'll have to find a solution, find a solution, find a solution, deal with the feeling, deal with the feeling, deal with the feeling until it is resolved.